Artemis Toast here, and doing a quick upload from the workshop tonight. If you've seen some of my playlists, it's obvious that, along with being, world's greatest guitarist and a fan of music and musician in general, also have a fondness for, multiple forms of media, among that, you know, among them being movies. I was kind of, sad um, to read that Daniel Day Lewis is planning on retiring after the release of his next film. Um, and that kind of sucks, for this reason, at least to me. You know, I kind of, I guess the gauge that I internally use to, I guess come to the conclusion whether or not I feel like an artist is good or all kinds of awesome is basically comes down to one thing. I think to myself, um, given the training, could I do that? Could I pull that off? And that applies to not only music, and song construction and structure and a lot of things in general. If I hear a song or listen to an arrangement, and you know single out different pieces of that arrangement, if I come to the conclusion that, man, there's no way I could do that, or I don't know how they did that. Um, I think to myself, man, that's all kinds of awesome. Once again, that's why I'm a big fan of progressive rock bands, etc. But going back to the case in point, being Daniel Day Lewis as an actor, I've I've seen hundreds of movies. Big fan of film in general. A huge reason for this hobby that I have of making these uploads and editing them, etc. Um, you know, big fan of Daniel Day Lewis's work. Um, and going back to what I was saying before, that's one of those things. When I see one of his performances, I think to myself, man, like there's no way I could do that. Um, it's not like I'm not trying to be cocky in that statement. It's just some actors, musicians, artists, etc. have that some you know factor that you can't put in the words that sets them apart. And as an actor, uh, my personal opinion, and many other people's opinion, Daniel Day Lewis has that. He becomes the character that he is portraying on screen. Um, Once you read often about his, uh, he stays in character, during the duration of the shoot, on and off camera, regardless of who he's in front of, regardless of situation, um, during the course of filming a movie, he remains in that character, whether it be Abraham Lincoln or Butcher from Gangs of New York. I mean, that also goes. My left foot is a good example. Amazing performance. I think I read somewhere that he got bed sores from you know remaining in character. That character being someone with cerebral palsy. Um, you know, uh, off off camera, being physically moved around and lifted, and that's, I mean, that takes quite a commitment, to the craft, and that's why I think he's one of the greatest actors, probably the greatest living actor, but one of the greatest actors of all time. For that very reason, his commitment to whatever character he's portraying. But anyway, getting on a long rant here, but I just thought that as a big fan of films and a big fan of Daniel Day Lewis, the actor, um, responsible for, his characters are responsible for, some of my favorite movies. I don't believe I would have liked, Gangs of New York, as much. Martin Scorsese, great director. The rest of the cast was, well, except for maybe Cameron Diaz. The rest of the cast was great. But you know, Daniel Day Lewis, playing Bill the Butcher. It was Bill, right? Bill the Butcher, Bill or Bob, Bill the Butcher. Um, you know, it was almost like he was playing Robert De Niro playing Bill the Butcher. The way he captured. I mean, all kinds of awesome performance, trademark. And then, you know, uh, well, There Will Be Blood, Last of the Mohicans. The Boxer. Um, just a great resume. 3-time Best Actor Oscar winner. You know, um, it's great that he's going out in his prime, but you know I wish he'd made more movies. So it kind of sucks that Daniel Day Lewis is retiring. But that's tonight's upload. Just a rant about Daniel Day Lewis retiring. Um, Artemis Toast out.